I gotta say, Wyatt, this Homestead weekend was not as dramatic as what I thought it was gonna be.
I didn't get to see a lot of some of these, but they were. But I did get to see the finishes on Truck and Xfinity. It was pretty good. But a lot of stuff happened. Not a whole lot, but good amount of stuff happened in the Cup race that seemed pretty interesting.
Pretty interesting. A clean slate for the Truck Series when it comes to racing wise. Mostly caution free, minus the stage breaks. Xfinity, I have no idea what happened in that race. That probably, from my observation, probably was calm. But then the Cup race, maybe just had a little bit more spice to it. Maybe the spiciest race out of all three. Welcome to the 22nd edition of GTN. As always, I'm your host, Elijah Leonard. Co-host is Wyatt Walker. He's over to my left if you're watching this on YouTube. So, Homestead, Miami. Let's get on down to business here. Trucks, I've pretty much watched the whole race. The only thing that was kind of shocking to me is the early stage woes for John Hunter Nemechek, which would ultimately knock him out of contention, not just for the win, but a spot in the final four. What were your reactions when that happened?
I kind of felt bad because I think we all had him in at least a championship for a contender. We all knew he was going. We all thought he was going to be able to make it in there, but I actually thought he was going to be one of the two people to win that race.
Oh yeah,
to be honest.
Yeah, so did I.
But it is just tough break for them. KBM cannot get a break when it comes to like trying to figure out about their season and stuff, and they got one car in, but they couldn't get two. Or a truck, I'm sorry.
Well, one day they might expand back into the Xfinity series. You never know. But yeah, I'd say for Nemechek, I was thinking, since he was performing so well at the start, oh man, he's probably going to be up here for a while. He might even dominate this thing for all we know. Nope. Tire issues put him in the wall. Not once, but twice. The second time, it ultimately just killed his chances of winning throughout the rest of the race. And
not just that, but also championship too.
That too. The same thing, something similar happened to Grant Enfinger as well, but it happened much later in the race, which was also very unfortunate because Enfinger, I thought he probably was going to be a dark horse to sneak his way in, maybe via points or maybe try to win. But no, he probably around 50-ish, 55-ish laps to go. He had a similar issue over in turns 1 and 2 and had to put more 4 tires on, and that ultimately was the thing that killed his chances of moving on into the final four.
But talk about all the blows. Let's talk about the highs. Both the Smiths both made it in.
Absolutely.
We kind of figured they both had really good seasons. It's going to be a toss up between those two on the championship, in my opinion.
Yep.
But then it all came between these two drivers, two Thor Sports, and I do not. What's Stuart Friesen's team?
Homer Friesen Racing.
Homer Friesen? Okay. I knew it started with an H. I couldn't remember, but and
Ben Rhodes.
I'll say Ben Rhodes got it.
Yeah. So I was really, really kind of holding my breath on Ben Rhodes. I really was holding my breath because I did not think he was going to have a really good chance of making it onto the next round or making it onto the final four. But my gosh, he squeaked one out. He squeaked out of this one and just got out by the skin of his teeth. I am honestly very impressed with the drive that Ben Rhodes has, and I cannot wait to see what his championship race is going to look like once he goes into Phoenix trying to defend his title.
Which, if you look at it now, he's the only champion last year that's actually in the final four because both ones in the Cup and Xfinity both got eliminated in round of 12.
Yes. But the end of the day, let's go ahead and talk about the highest of highs, Mr. Ty Majeski, man. I was not thinking he was going to win Homestead. Didn't
I did
didn't
not
see
see
it on
that
my
either.
radar at all, but man, he put a whooping on these guys. Went on to win, and out of the 134 laps ran, he led 67 of those laps. He led half the race. Easily led the most laps.
And you also gotta look at this real quick that we thought if he was gonna be dark horse in the championship four, it looks more like Ben Rhodes, our last year's champion, is the dark horse. Ty Majeski's just in the fight with both Smiths now.
He's right up there. At this point, I think Majeski, with that exclamation point, I think he's proving that he's going to be right up there with them.
And now, what's funny is we got 3 Toyotas and a Ford going for the championship.
Yeah. This will be interesting.
So let's go ahead and get the results. Results, and we'll talk more about the four in the final four. But Ty Majeski is our winner. I mentioned Zane Smith, who also in the final four. He comes on second. Stuart Friesen had a great race. He got third, but it wasn't enough to advance him. Yeah. Ryan Preece, good fourth. Corey Heim with a good top 5. Not bad. Ben Rhodes, who also made in, but I think he had a little help from his teammates Christian Eckes, who didn't have enough points to make it in, and Matt Crafton, which I think they've gained him spots to help him get through. So I don't know.
No.
Parker Klinger got 5th. Nice job. Good job for him. Another top 10. Chandler Smith gets 10th, who also made it into the final 4. Tyler Rankum had a good top 12. Finished 11th. Carson Hocevar gets 12th. They got Colby Howard, Grant Anfinger, who unfortunately did not qualify for the final 4. Derek Krause, top 15, Chase Purdy. Not bad for Vittori. Both got top 20, top 16. Not bad.
Not too bad at all, I'd say. It was a pretty good day for them.
Haley Deegan comes home 17th, Casgrella 18th. Matt DeBedetta, who started 3rd, comes home 19th. Haley Deegan started 7th and dropped 10 spots.
Well, I'll say this. Even if she finished a lap down, she brought the truck home in one piece. So you can't be too upset about that. I mean, even after the momentum that you had from the Xfinity race last week, which, of course, that's gratifying, and I think that's definitely confidence boosting. I think this could definitely translate to the truck and finishing the race 17th. May have been a lap down, but she ended up bringing the truck back in one piece.
Yeah. Mentioned Casgrella, Matt DeBedetta. Timmy Hill comes from 20th. Max Gutierrez comes home 21st. Then got Blaine Perkins, Dean Thompson, Brendan Poole, Tanner Gray, Stephen Parsons in the 20. Caden Honeycutt. How do you say that? Nick
Leitz.
Thank you. Tyler Hill, Chad Chastain, Jack Wood, Mason Maggio,
yeah.
I don't know if I said that right. Brett Holmes, Lawless Allen, mentioned John Hernimicek. 35th, and then coming home last is Spencer Boyd.
Which, here's something actually really cool. Unfortunately for Spencer Boyd, he wasn't able to finish. All but one truck finished the race. Which, actually, this was probably one of the safest races at Homestead we've ever had. Probably dating back to the championship race for the trucks 4 years ago, which kind of played out in a similar fashion, I'd say. Mostly caution-free. But still, pretty clean race. I'm pretty satisfied with that.
Speaking of being satisfied, we got our final 4 here, and since we have a game changer in Majeski now, about having the same amount of wins as both Smiths, Who do you think going to who do we think might be our champion?
Well, we can talk about this next week when we cover Martinsville, but it doesn't hurt to get an early prediction out of the way, and then once we get to Martinsville, get to talking about Martinsville, reviewing it, we could definitely double down on our predictions just in case if we can't remember exactly. But I would say Ben Rose is probably going to be more of a dark horse than Ty Majeski will be in this championship fight. But mostly, I think if Ty Majeski, of course, is going to be up there, right up there with both Smiths. And both Smiths this year have been bad to the bone fast all year long. But if I'm going to have to be honest here, of all these four drivers in particular that I think I could see as champion, it's going to be Chandler Smith. I think he'll definitely close out his tenure, his full-time tenure in trucks on a high note and take whatever momentum he has up to Colleague in the Xfinity Series, and who knows, he might continue that momentum from there. Maybe not championship winning momentum, but definitely winning momentum for sure.
I think I may double down on the Smith, but it's not Chandler. I've had my hopes on Zane Smith ever since he started winning. Yes, he's only won 3 races, but he's been more consistent. Each time he's fast, almost every track we go to. He has a great truck. This is actually the first time this team's actually been to the Final Four.
In anything.
Well, mainly trucks, because this team's showed up for 3 years, if I'm not mistaken.
This is their third season, yeah.
Both times, I think they made the playoffs both year with Todd Gilliland, I believe, and they got eliminated out of the first round.
Yeah.
And Gilliland looked like he was going to make it out of there last year, but unfortunate stuff happened and he got eliminated. But this is the first time with a great driver, I might add, with Zane Smith. He can easily win this championship. Don't keep this in mind. He has finished second in the playoff standings both times. Yes, driving for GMS, but he has a championship caliber truck. They haven't won championships, but they could win with Zane Smith. Third time's the charm. I think he gets it.
It's very possible. But we're on opposite ends of the spectrum here when it comes to Smiths here, which definitely not a bad thing, I'd say.
Yeah, but we could both agree Thor Sport's not going back to back.
Maybe but if they do, Ty Majeski's the strongest guy right now. But that's only if Ty Majeski is in the right spot at the right time, which I'm confident he's going to do everything in his power to get there. But I don't know if it's going to be enough. But we'll just have to wait and see when we get to Phoenix.
I want to point out something that's funny right before. If you look at the championship four, both last name Spitz has an 8 in the back of their number. And you got Thor Sports 166, 199.
That is... that's funny. That is some irony. No, it's more of a coincidence. I wouldn't say irony. I think that's a coincidence.
I noticed that yesterday, and I was just like, I gotta point this out. This is funny. It's funny as hell. I just have to throw that little funny little teaser in.
Funny. Very funny. All right. So now let's move on over to Xfinity, which I have zero clue as to what happened at Xfinity.
I watched this race. I do not remember everything that happened in that race, but I will say Noah Gragson dominated that race.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Oh, my gosh. Yes, he did. Yeah.
Noah Gregson, we knew he was going to be a driver to beat at Homestead. He's been good there, and he had to fight off a hard charge and Ty Gibbs and AJ Allmendinger at the end, but he had a really good car, and the one driver I think could have gotten him, actually two technically, two drivers I think could have actually gone up there and probably beat him. Could have been Austin Hill or AJ Allmendinger.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like it would have been really possible. I mean, for sure.
Yeah. Trying to think. I know. I think Yaley and Hertz got into it at one point, if I remember that correctly.
Oh boy.
So if I remember correctly, it was either 3 wide or someone got loose on the high lane. I'll have to look back. I cannot remember everything out of that race, unfortunately. But I know those who got into it. JJ Yaley's out, but Hertz was able to continue.
Yep.
I don't think he really had that much damage, especially if it's finished 8th. Yeah, basically trying to remember all that happened. But the finish was pretty good. Noah Gregson locked himself into the Final Four expanded. It makes 2 Junior Motorsports cars locked in. Which this will make this really interesting.
Oh, what? Hold up. Sorry. I just went on to Twitter just to look to see if there's any sort of NASCAR news. Off topic, Dale Jr. is on Monday Night Raw. As we're recording,
Wait, what?
As we're recording this right now, Dale Earnhardt Jr. as of 1 hour ago, 8:37 p.m. when this was posted, is on Monday Night Raw for WWE as we speak.
Junior's on Monday Night Raw?
Junior is on Monday Night Raw.
What?
I kid you not. You know, we live in such a strange world when you see Dale Earnhardt Jr., a former NASCAR driver, a NASCAR legend, and Hall of Famer in his own right, show up on WWE networks. Networking, rather.
I mean, it would be fair, since we're still off topic, AJ Styles did ride the Charlotte Roval with Corey LaJoy. So.
And so did Bianca Belair, and so did Montez Ford, but that was all with Jeff Burton. That topic is for another day.
Are they in North Carolina?
They would have to be. I would only assume they have to be.
I mean, now I just gotta figure out. Now I'm just curious on where they're at on Monday Night Raw, just to see if that's what it is. But we'll come back to that, and that might be an off-camera discussion from me and Elijah after this.
Maybe. I was not I'm sorry to stop you there. I just was not expecting that whatsoever.
I mean, it was kind of a good segue since we were talking about his team.
Speaking of, yeah, let's go over them finishing results, shall we?
Okay, that was the funny. So as we mentioned, Noah Gregson's the winner. He's officially advanced to the Final Four. We knew he was going to get in anyways. How much speed? This is his 8th win this season.
Yes.
Not the most dominant season. I mean, I know Christopher Bell had Christopher and Cole Custer had like 9 wins apiece at their dominant season, but that's still not too bad. That's still a dominant season from Gregson.
Yeah. Absolutely. Gregson, this is a
He's
career
definitely-
year. This is a career year for Gregson. I don't care if he doesn't win the championship. This is a career year for him.
100%, and I do think he is winning that championship. There's no doubt in my mind he's not the championship at the end of this year, and he will use that and go to Petty GMS and do good for that team.
Yes.
I cannot wait to see that. But anyway, speaking of guys who might be moving up the Cup Series, we got Ty Gibbs who finished second. AJ Allmendinger, who's also going up the Cup again. He finished third. Daniel Hemrick's fourth. Sam Mayer fifth. Good run for him. Trevor Bain finishes sixth from getting the pole.
Mm-hmm.
Chandler Smith getting a top 10. I think this is his first top 10 in the Xfinity Series, if I'm not mistaken.
Now, I think this even is a really good effort for the Sam Hunt guys. I think that's really good for them. I'd say here's another prediction that I would have, and this is kind of out of pocket. So let's say Sam Hunt Racing wants to go for the Xfinity Series title. They need a full-time driver. John Hunter Nemechek could fill in that slot. Could.
Yeah, but what's the point of that and just not have John Hunter Nemechek go to Joe Gibbs?
I mean, that could happen too, but that is also a prediction because most of this year I've seen Nemechek in a Sam Hunt car. So he has raced for Gibbs at the same time this year, but really, whatever would work for him. I think both rides would work, but that's just a prediction I could throw out there.
Also, spoiler alert for the Cup Series, he did drive. We're going to talk about this when we got the Cup anyways, but he did drive the 45, replacing Bubba Wallace, who has a 1-race suspension. So
yeah.
So he did drive an affiliated Joe Gibbs car, but even still.
But nonetheless, continuing on.
We'll talk more about that later. Riley Herbst come home 8th. Austin, who I mentioned, had a rebound. He actually had a tire, didn't have all the lugs tightened after green flag pit stops, had to go back. Was a lap down, ended up rebounding 9th. Good run. Good job for him.
Mm-hmm.
Allgaier 10th. Last week's winner, Josh Berry, comes home 11th. Landon Castle 12th. Excuse me. Bailey Curry 13th. Brendan Poole 14th. Then got Brandon Jones, who didn't have really a good race. Well, I think he had a good race. He just fell back to a mediocre finish.
Yeah.
Parker Retzlaff. Yeah, I said it right first time. He came home with top 20. Good run for him. Sheldon Creed 17th, Anthony Alfredo 18th, Jeb Burton 19th. Kyle Weatherman was actually running top 10 not that long. At the beginning of the season, he actually qualified 8th.
Oh yeah, that's.
I swear, Kyle Weatherman's name might be a household if he gets that ride full time and actually does good with that. That just seems right.
Not only that, but I'd say if, say, Dale Jr. at some point next year fields the 88, maybe he could fill that spot for a couple races because he did bring up Kyle Weatherman's name. It's like, oh, maybe I could put Kyle Weatherman in one of my cars because it seems like in some of Jesse Wuji's cars this year he has shown a lot of potential. So I think Kyle Weatherman, over these last couple years has definitely grown and matured as a racer, and I think even behind the wheel of a smaller team's car, a smaller team. Team car, he could definitely get up there and make some noise,
In my eyes, he don't race like it, but he reminds me a lot of Ross Chastain. When his name was barely mentioned a lot. when he drove for JD Motorsports, but when he got the opportunity with Chip Ganassi and won, and then he just had like a household name build up on that, end up becoming Cup Series. He's a potentially could run for a championship in this year in the Cup Series right now.
Yeah.
So in my eyes, I see Kyle Weatherman as the new Ross Chastain Xfinity Series building up. If you get what I'm saying.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a similar path to what Ross took when he started coming up 10 years ago. 10, 11 years ago. Started out with small teams, worked his way to bigger teams, did the same thing in Xfinity, did the exact same thing in Cups. So I think Kyle Weatherman is somebody we could be talking about here in another, maybe give or take 5,
2-3
6
years.
Maybe if it's longer, 5, 6, 7 years,
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah, I agree. David Starr 21st, Mike Snyder 22nd, Patrick Emmerling
Parker
23rd.
Emmerling.
I know, for some reason I thought it said Parker, but I looked back and said Patrick. I don't know why. Joe Graff Jr. 24th, Nick Sanchez 25th. I don't know why it keeps saying this full name Nicholas Sanchez when everyone just calls him Nick Sanchez.
I mean, it's his full name, so I mean they kind of just do whatever. But
but they don't do the same thing to Chris Buescher, even though Dale Jr. has made the joke.
Christopher Buescher,
which he's retired. Which actually, spoiler, he retired that name too.
Oh, that's so sad. That's so sad.
Yeah, but he says people can still call him that, especially you, Dale Jr.
Oh man, but no, I feel bad for Nick. I felt bad for Nick Sanchez here because the last couple of races that he's been behind the wheel of this 48, he has shown so much promise. And within a short period of time, I mean, this guy's got raw talent. I think it might be to the level of Kyle Larson. Because like I've never seen anybody in the ARCA series jump into an Xfinity car that's kind of like C+ and race it as close as top 10. Never seen that. I haven't seen that in a while, let alone ever. So I think
some drivers in that car who's done okay, but not superb.
Not superb at all. I think out of every single one of them that has been behind the wheel of that 48, Nick Sanchez has done the absolute best. Minus the Cup drivers, of course. Minus the Cup drivers that have been behind the wheel of that car. But Nick Sanchez, I mean, anybody else that has not been a Cup driver in that 48, Nick Sanchez has been really great. I think if anything, keep the schedule that he's got in Xfinity, keep it at a part-time level. But if you want him to have more competition, and I'm not saying that ARCA is super competitive. It's competitive, but it's really, 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 it's kind of like you're going on just a Sunday cruise at that point. Put him in trucks. Put him in trucks full time.
Put him in trucks and put him with a good shit. He could be a good Kyle Busch Motorsports driver.
Could.
They're going to Chevy and he's driving a Chevy, so that might work out.
It makes sense.
Speaking of Chevys, we got 3 more next in line. We got Jeremy Clements, 26th. Chris Wright in the 68, 27th. Julia
Landauer.
Landauer?
Yeah.
She, right?
Yeah, that's a she.
Yeah, I figured. I just want to double check to be sure. Just say, better be safe than sorry, but yeah. I think, didn't she just? Is this her Xfinity debut?
No, she made her debut back in Loudon.
Yeah, I just wanted to double
check. You remember when I went on that tangent about everybody being so far away from the wall, and Jeff Burton was saying, "Oh, she needs to be closer up against the wall," but Ty Gibbs was like half a car length further away from the wall than she was.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still hate the Jeff Burton and Steve Letarte for that. No, just for that. I think they're great people, but just I don't like what they did for that.
I'm surprised you didn't hate them when him and Gordon got into it at Texas about 11 years ago.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. 11 years ago. 4 scores and 7 years ago.
I bet you didn't want me to bring that up, but anyways, we got
Wait,
Timmy Hill 29.
about the Bush Hornaday incident at
No,
Texas? Oh, no.
The Gordon Burton incident at Texas.
Oh, that was stupid. That was just as stupid as the announcers screwing up with Julia Landauer. My gosh, man.
Ironically, one of those is the same person.
They both involve Jeff Burton.
Exactly.
They both connect to one person. His name is Jeff Burton. I don't care if you're the mayor of the garage area, but for gosh sakes, actually do some research and know what you're talking about. Jeez, oh Pete's, and know what you're doing on track.
I had to do it. It was too good not to do it.
I thought you were talking about Kyle Busch and Ron Hornaday. I was like, oh yeah, of course.
But I was talking about the Jeff and Jeff.
No, yeah, of course, yeah. That was totally a very monumental moment in our sport. Totally, very, very monumental. That has such a warm place in my heart. Such a warm place. All right, moving on.
just like Jeff Gordon, Clint Boyer. But anyways,
well, hey, that's kind of stupid, but that was stupid on Gordon's part. Anyways.
We got Timmy Hill 29th and Josh Williams, CJ McLaughlin, Matt Mills, Ryan Sieg, Stephen Parsons, Kyle Sieg, BJ McLeod, Mason Massey, and JJ Yaley, rounding out 26. 29. 38th. God damn it.
Wow. I didn't know the field got so small and then grew all of a sudden.
It is.
Wyatt, are you okay? Say, Wyatt, are you okay? Are you okay, Wyatt?
No, I'm talking with you, but anyways.
Are you okay?
I'm kidding, but...
Are you okay?
I'm kidding, buddy. No, I'm talking to you. I'm never okay.
Sure.
Okay. But anyways, let's go to the points real quick. Like I mentioned, 2 junior motorsports drivers are locked in by points.
Mm-hmm.
Noah Gragson and Josh Berry.
Yeah.
Ty Gibbs is up by 30 points, which he has a good race at Martinsville, which he did finish 5th before having his run-ins with Sam Mayer.
Ty Gibbs.
Yeah.
Ty Gibbs. Gosh. Yeah, I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to figure out a way to turn the streamer mode back on. Here we go. This is what I wanted.
Oh, it did stop streaming?
No, I just turned off the streamer mode so that way I could listen to the Halloween sound for the Discord call notification.
Oh.
But anyways, going back to the playoff standings.
Let me find the see if we can get the schedule going. Find out where he finished. Schedule, Xfinity, here it is. Let's see. Here it is. The only race that Brandon Jones actually won this season. He actually finished 8th. But he started on pole and was running up there a good amount of the races, so.
Yeah.
So he's not, but yeah, he's gonna have a good car, and Ty Gibbs I think is a lock. I think he's going to get locked into championship off point. If he wins, that's good.
Yeah, there's no questioning. Probably by stage 2, Gibbs is a lock.
Agreed.
Allmendinger,
nothing go wrong.
Of course, Allmendinger, Allgaier, Austin Hill, they're all going to be fighting hard. I mean, they're for that final spot. But it is really safe to say that Sam Mayer and Brandon Jones are in must-win situations. Like, they're in the double digits. They're in a must-win.
Here's the thing about that. You go to the track we're coming up to. One, Brandon Jones won the race. He won that race earlier, so of course he's definitely has a somewhat of advantage. But keep an eye on Sam Mayer for a minute here. Think about this for a second. Sam Mayer was battling Ty Gibbs for that win, not just for the win, but he's also for the dash of cash.
Yeah.
Dash for cash too. And Sam Mayer and him and Gibbs had a run in, but Sam Mayer could have won that race.
Yeah.
If he had the same race as he did last year, we could be talking about Noah Gragson, Josh Berry, and Sam Mayer, and probably Ty Gibbs. Ty Gibbs as our final four if Mayer wins and bumps out Dinger. So that's just something we gotta keep in mind.
Oh yeah. I mean, really at this point, it's like what I was trying to say through the very tight points battle between Allmendinger, Allgaier, and Hill, that by no means Allmendinger is safe. Of course, his work from here is still not done. Ty Gibbs, of course, he can just be on cruise control for all we care, and he could still make it in via points or win. But Allmendinger right now, I mean, he is pretty much in the hot seat for this final spot. And Allgaier and Austin Hill, they're both going to be fighting him for it. I mean, of course, they're going to be throwing everything, including the metaphorical kitchen sink, into this. Sam Mayer, Brandon Jones, it's like I said, with their must-win situations, they are going to be throwing the metaphorical house in this kind of deal. Sorry, there was a ladybug right on my desk, and I kind of don't like that.
While he's messing with that, I just want to do another point out here, too. I'm looking at the finishing results of last year. Of course, we know about what happened to Ty Gibbs and Sam Mayer. Those positions don't really... those positions matter, but they don't really matter in this scenario as much. But Allmendinger finished third, and Hill finished fourth.
Yeah.
Those who are close together in there, and if you scroll down, concerning for Allgaier, he qualified second, but he finished 29th.
Yeah.
So, should Allgaier be worried?
Let me actually take a look at Allgaier's past results at Martinsville for Xfinity. Dating back to 2020. If Racing Reference would actually cooperate here. Let me take this off. Well, actually, no. Then again, it's Racing Reference. I mean, what am I to say? So, Martinsville. Dating back to 2020. Let's... if Racing Reference would just hurry it up. So, first time back at Martinsville for the Xfinity Series, Allgaier ended up finishing second. Next race at this track, 2021. The spring race, he finished 9th. Then, last year's fall race, he ended up finishing 5th. And then, in the spring race this year, as you pointed out, he ended up finishing 29th. Martinsville, from the looks of the finishing results from the last 3 races before this year's Martinsville race, Allgaier has been relatively strong at this track. I wouldn't say Allgaier could have a good shot.
I do say that the only of the 3 who has a good average finishes has to be Austin Hill.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably because he's only raced in Xfinity Series once in this, and he finished 4th. So I'd say it's going to be a good battle coming in between Allgaier, Allmendinger, and Hill. But you can't count out I don't think you can count out Brandon Jones or Sam Mayer in this too, because they both finished top five. So this is gonna be. I think it's gonna be a good playoff.
It's gonna be a good fight. It's gonna be a good fight. But before we talk about our thoughts on that fight to get into the Final Four, let's talk about another fight. The Cup Series at Homestead, the main event.
I did not get to watch this race at all, unfortunately, because I was driving home from a 3-hour trip. So
yeah, let me just say, this Cup race was relatively calm. Of course, the racing itself, it wasn't as good as what I thought it was going to be, but it was still good. Listen, like the restarts were still Homestead Miami style restarts, of course. It was still the multi-groove racetrack. It was, of course, still the home of the Larson line. Kyle Larson proved that for 199 consecutive laps.
what was the passing? Was the pass? So with next gen cars never been here. So how was it compared? Was like
so the passing, I'd say. I mean, the passing itself, I mean, it was still a little bit difficult to pass, but that's what made the racing so good. You could get a run on somebody, say on corner exit, or so that way you could power around the outside, and then corner entry, somebody could get around you on the inside. So like, it's kind of like what we see at Daytona and Talladega with kind of like the two trains on the inside and outside. You can't really get away from each other, and you have to do everything possible to try to kill off whatever run that they have, so that way you can clear the other guy to your inside or outside, and try to drive away with whatever position you got. In this case, Ross Chastain, AJ Allmendinger, perfect example of this. Like they were going at it for second for the final 30 to 50 laps ish or so, and it was just a dogfight between those two. Neither were giving it up. They were doing everything possible. And let me just add the cherry on top of this hot fudge sundae. Post race, Allmendinger got out of his car, walked over to Ross Chastain, and he just gave him that handshake. Like, that was great. That was awesome. Great job. That kind of respect shown off track, I loved it. After all that racing that those two did, and for them to get out and just give that handshake of, hey, that was awesome. Great racing out there. Good luck on your championship 4 run coming up if you make it in, whatever. Like, that's great. I think that's what racing should be all about.
And you put that out, and you have AJ Allmendinger, who's been a veteran in the Cup Series for a while, dropped out in like 18, if I'm correct.
Yep, retired in 18. Technically.
Retired in 18, showed back up to run part-time for Kaulig in 19, and then just went on to potentially have an Xfinity championship. If he makes it in, he's probably a front runner for if Noah Gragson or Ty Gibbs don't get it.
Mm-hmm.
But and all the stuff that happened with Ross Chastain, I forget what race it started. How it started. I think it was him, and then it was Gateway. It was Gateway that started the whole Ross Chastain versus everyone deal.
Yeah,
correct?
Actually, yeah.
It was there to have someone some good job on racing. That's the confidence booster on Ross Chastain itself. Now he has, I'm not sure it's 100%, but he does have an ally.
Hey, that's actually really good. I mean, it's not only showing that Ross has definitely learned quite a bit from just having to protect himself from himself and other drivers as well, try to tame whatever aggression that he has and just kind of, take it easy a bit. I think it's definitely shown a lot of maturing on the part of Ross. I think maybe
And that
with this kind of speed that he's got and with the kind of mindset that he's got when it comes to racing these other guys, who knows? Maybe this could take him into the Final Four.
not just that, I think he's a real dark horse champion.
Could be.
I think he can easily. He finished higher than all the others. All the other guys, I think he might be a legit championship driver. I think. But I just want to say before I do these results, this is random results that I did not think I'd see.
Well,
Like,
another one to bring up. Sorry, before you keep going.
go ahead.
Our race winner, Kyle Larson, 199 laps. Led 199 laps, all but 68. And he did this all in his comfort zone, Wyatt. His comfort zone. Have you seen the in-car camera footage of him riding the wall? I want you to watch it. I want you to look at it. It is.
Send me that and I will.
It is absolutely nuts of how close he is up against the wall. Like I once I find it, I want to show you. Like this is.
I want to say this about Larson. If he was in the championship, if he was in the next round, this would have locked him into the championship four, and this is why I would have picked him to win. I knew Larson when we were making our predictions. Larson's name was at the back of my head because I knew he was not in the championship, and I was committed to picking championship 8 contenders, a round of 8 contenders. But Larson, I knew was going to be a contender for that win, and I was right.
By a landslide.
By a landslide. If we talked about Ross Chastain, he got back-to-back second-place finishes.
Yeah.
Ross Chastain, he's having a good round of 8. He has one more good one at Martinsville. He's definitely locked.
Absolutely, man.
While you're looking up that car camera, let's go to the results. Larson's our winner. The Ross Chastain second. Then you mentioned the battle between him and AJ Allmendinger, which AJ actually got third back to back. Think about that for a minute. He got third in Xfinity, now he got third in Cup.
How ironic.
One more thing I want to mention before we get to fourth place, which actually surprised the hell out of me. AJ Allmendinger has shown up ever since the colleague announcements.
Come to think of it, yeah, he did.
He's been finishing top 10 almost every single time since, I think even before the announcement was made.
Should that even be a surprise, though?
It's not a surprise, but
yeah,
think about that for next year. He's running good at all these tracks.
Yeah.
He might be a championship. He might be not a championship, but as a playoff dark horse with AJ Allmendinger.
Mm-hmm.
Which, continuing on, fourth place surprises me a whole lot. Austin Dillon? How did he get the fourth?
How did he?
And then you got Brad Keselowski finishing fifth, which shouldn't be a surprise, but with him in the sixth, that's why I'm surprised.
Yeah. All right. I just sent you the video.
I'll check it out. Maybe check it after a commercial break or something. But Mark Truex Jr. 6th, Danny Hamlin 7th, Harvick 8th, Kyle Busch 9th, Daniel Suarez about to get a top 10. Good job for Trackhouse getting a top 10. Christopher Bell, who needed to get a win, in my opinion. He finished 11th, 10 spots less than what it needed to be. William Byron, a pole sitter, gets 12th. Chris Buescher 13th. Chase Elliott 14th.
Better
Should
than.
we be worried?
I mean, Yes, we should be worried, but it is a better result than last week. But it's still, ugh, still.
We'll come back to Chase Elliott here in a minute, which this is concerning. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. 15th. Then we got Michael McDowell. We got a whole bunch of Fords coming up after McDowell. Oh wow. Ryan Blaney, Joey Logano, Austin Cindric. Add Harrison Burton to that too.
We had Eric Almirola. If we're talking about 4 trains, that's 6 Fords in a row.
I'm not really mentioning Eric Almirola. I'm talking about the Penske and the Penske affiliated drivers.
Yeah, but I'm talking about all these Fords.
Well, McDowell and Almirola's positions technically don't surprise me all that much. No disrespect to either one of them, but kind of where they run whole season with some good flashes, the top 10s and all that. No disrespect, but Ryan Blaney, Joey Logano, Austin Cindric, 17th, 18th, and 19th. Harrison Burton with a good top 20 though. He's the one I'm actually impressed with. But damn, Penske altogether did not have a good race.
Oh yeah,
they all finished. Especially Ryan Blaney, who needs to have a good race to make it in the next round.
Oh yeah, he's gonna need all the points.
Unfortunately, Logano's fine. Then we mentioned Eric Almirola 21st, Ty Gibbs 22nd, Corey LaJoie 23rd, Cole Custer 24th. Which that is actually a topic that's another topic that we need to bring up later on, but we'll come back to Noah Gragson 25th, 26th Ty Dillon. Unfortunately, John Nemechek, after having a great qualifying, I saw this.
Yep.
He hit the wall, spun out 2, and just killed his car.
Yeah.
I mean, he continued to run, but 27.
That's it is a one-off. I mean, he doesn't really have anything to lose, but he doesn't have anything to gain either. But
this is why I feel so bad. I just saw. Oh wow! I just looked at WWE General. I'm getting off topic for a minute, but it's going off topic a minute. But I just see that he's in the crowd. He's in the crowd. I thought he was actually on, being a guest person at the mic.
At the announce table. At the announcer's table.
Not the announce table, but actually in the ring.
Oh no, he's not. He wouldn't compete in the ring.
I don't think he would compete in the ring. I just thought it would be for a guest in there, like what they did with Kerry or Trump or.
Oh, did you? Oh, here's a little. Did you know? Did you know that Dale Jr. is not the only one to have been featured on WWE Networking? You also throw in Kyle Busch. He's been featured twice. From my knowledge, not just 3 years ago, but also back in 2009. Joey Logano was also in there too.
Remember that?
He probably very well could have gotten a chokeslam from the Big Show, but Carl Edwards even showed up on WWE Networking. Yeah, I kid you not. I can send you the video.
Yeah, you better send me that. I'm watching that too.
Yeah, I mean, John Cena originally at the time was supposed to be the guy the flagman to wave the green flag, but of course, with the very inevitable weather situation that Daytona was in at the time, that definitely was fantastic.
I'm finding more stuff about this each time. This is going to be really interesting. I did not know that. All right. Going back to this. Also, I've never been more interested interesting wrestling stuff in my life now, but Justin Haley, 28th, Landon Cass with 29. Eric Jones, 30th, damn. Todd Gilman, 31st. JJ Ely, 32nd. BJ McLeod, 33rd. Cody Ware, no surprise, 34th. Then, what happened to Tyler Reddick? I actually saw.
So he ended up getting into an accident. Of course. I can't remember everything that happened, but it looked like that he ended up getting loose and he ended up hitting the wall head on.
Yeah, because, I remember looking at the results and I'm just thinking, damn, Tyler Reddick had a good car. What happened? Because I haven't seen it. I haven't heard any replays. I know what happened to Briscoe.
Yep.
Who finished dead last.
Yep.
Which doesn't help him in points, but
no.
I remember seeing that, but I don't remember seeing anything about Tyler Reddick. That's what confused me.
Yeah.
But
nonetheless.
Yeah, let's go over the cut points real quick. But Joe Logano, of course, is still locked in with a win. Ross Chastain is up 19. He's not safe, but it's still pretty good points. Chase Elliott is up by 11. William Byron up by 5. Hamlin down by 5. Blaney down by 18. Not must win, but not all that good either.
Yeah.
And then these two, in my opinion, are must wins. Christopher Bell, minus 33, and obviously Chase Briscoe, minus 44.
Yeah. It's going to be a dogfight at Martinsville, that's for sure. But I'd say, to dissect this, Ross Chastain and Chase Elliott, as long as they have really good runs at Martinsville and get the right amount of points, get whatever points they need to get solidified into the Final Four by race's end, I think they're going to be okay. Should nothing bad happen. I think one of the realest dog fights I think we're going to have here is between William Byron
and Hamlin.
And if you want to count him in, Ryan Blaney. Here's Blaney's situation. Yes, he's 18 points below the cut line, but he needs points. So he is going to do everything possible to get as many points as he can, and if he's in position, win at Martinsville. Briscoe and Bell, they also are going to do the exact same thing. They're going to go down swinging at as much as they possibly can. They're going to throw the metaphorical mansion into this thing if they have to, in order to get the job done.
Mansion, wow, that's a new one on you. Never heard you do mansion yet.
Hey, listen, this is a pretty big deal. So of course it's much bigger than the kitchen sink. So they're gonna do everything possible. But yeah, as far as Blaney's situation, he's got to go for points. As many points as he can rack up, stage points, playoff points, whatever he needs, no matter whatever amount of points he needs to potentially get up there in the point standings and fight for that last spot in the Final Four. But of all of them that I think has the strongest chance out of the three, as much as I want to stick with Ryan Blaney being the guy that makes it into the Final Four, because that was my original prediction at the time when we made our playoff predictions way back 8 weeks ago now. Denny Hamlin's got the strongest chances.
Yeah, but then you look back at the back at the spring race. He finished 28th, and this is the same car as it was in the spring.
He just needs the thing year. Is with this car, he just needs a good qualifying effort. Really, of course, with short track racing, the short track racing hasn't been the greatest thing that we've ever seen, but it hasn't been the worst either. I think Martinsville, yes, not great racing, but not bad particularly either. You just need a good qualifying effort, and then just hope and pray that nothing bad happens from there. So,
It's hard to pass. It's just hard to pass, and that's what's going to really screw up a lot of this stuff.
yeah.
Really going to screw up a lot of stuff. But if you look back at it, the strongest cars of there. You mentioned number 3. William Byron won
Yeah.
last year, so he has a strong car on that one. Then Ryan Blaney finished 4th. So that's something right there. And trying to look see what else. Excuse me, but Chase Elliott led most of that race, but he fell back to 10th. So
Yeah. I mean, we'll just see what happens. I mean, Martinsville, like I said, is going to be the dogfight that we're going to be watching for. So we'll just have to talk about that once we get to that point. But let's get into some of our breaking stories.
How about we start off with we kind of put this as a question mark at the last episode. We talked about the Spire Motorsports had their driver lineup.
Yep.
So Corey LaJoie is still in the 7 car. We figured, but this one we didn't really expect.
I kind of didn't expect this, but Ty Dillon is going to be driving the 77 on a full-time basis in 2023. Have you seen... Okay, I'm going to ask this question. Have you seen the look on Ty Dillon's face during the press conference? Somebody took a screenshot of, his facial expressions and sarcastically put, "Man, Ty Dillon looks really excited for this opportunity." And Ty Dillon's just like, it's like, well, what, you're not driving for your grandpa, man. I mean, I get it, but you don't need to be that petty.
At least driving for a team.
Yeah, he's still in the Cup Series.
It may not be the best team, but you could still be maybe not be one of the best teams, but at least it's a team that's actually staying in,
and it's not one of the. And Spire's not one of the best teams, but to add on, they're not the worst either.
They're not Require Racing.
At times.
Not count, and that was mainly more towards Cody, not all the drivers who drove the 15, like Priest, Han,
Yaley.
Yaley. Well, somewhat Yaley. Who else drove? Joey Hand.
Yeah, Joey Han, I think out of all of them that drove the 15 was the best guy.
Yeah, 100%. Sorry, Parker, but I think you're in the same spot as Yaley on that one. You didn't really have a good one-off.
I
really hope you had a good one-off.
Yeah, but still.
But even then, I mean, he at least has a ride, and could have been worse. He couldn't not have a ride at all and be out of the Cup Series in general.
I agree.
Like he could have another 2021 moment.
Could have. I mean, he very well could have, but luckily, he's still in Cup. He's got a second full-time season. I mean, in this second tenure as a full-time Cup driver. So, I mean, you can't be too ashamed about it, but, yeah, I mean, like, he looked a little bit petty during the press conference, that's all I'm gonna say. Speaking of Cup drivers, let's shift gears, which I think you alluded to this one. Cole Custer and the situation with the 41 car.
Yes, I was talking about that. So, from what I understand, Gene Haas, apparently the 41 we thought was confirmed, it's technically not really confirmed.
Tony Stewart wants to replace Cody Ware. And I got it.
Cody Ware.
Cody Ware, totally. Cody Ware in the 41. Cole Custer.
I didn't do it this time, y'all. I didn't do it. Someone else did it.
If he owned the 51, you know for damn sure Cody Ware's getting replaced.
Yeah, 100%. Oh yeah, 100%.
But no, Cole Custer, Tony Stewart feels that needs to be replaced. That's what Tony Stewart feels, and I honestly I'm all for it. And I'm not saying that I want Cole Custer out of the 41. I think if he actually took whatever momentum that he had from the Xfinity Series up to the Cup Series back in 2020, he would have been a certified star. But we know in years past that 41 car generally hasn't been the strongest car at Stewart-Haas Racing. They're not the worst, but they're not the best either.
You say that. Usually the non-strongest car was the 10 before Eric Almirola took over that and became the third.
But even then, there still wasn't the best / worst car on the team. I mean, I'm looking at this specifically from the perspective of the 41 team. Yeah, I mean, I would be all for getting Cole Custer replaced, send Custer back down to the Xfinity Series, maybe go back to driving the 00, and probably try to have a little bit of resurgence in the Xfinity. Hell, for that matter, I mean, if you're gonna do it, put Ryan Preece in the 41. Remember back at the beginning of the year, he was signed on to be the honorary relief driver for Stewart-Haas Racing.
Which we haven't had that happen.
It hasn't happened at all this year. Which, I mean, it's actually kind of good because, there hasn't been any sort of injuries over on the Stewart-Haas Racing side on the Cup level. But still, I mean, Preece, as many races as he's run in Cup this year, which hasn't been a whole lot, I think he would be a good fit for the 41. Maybe.
Yeah, but here's my thing on that. I get that, but think about this for a minute. Harvick's contract is up by next year.
Yes.
We all know Preece is returning to the 4. It's going to be going to 4, but wouldn't that be weird? Just like you replace Cole Custer and figure out what to do with him, but you put Reese in the 41. And he's the one that's going to replace Kevin Harvick, and then put him in the 4, and then Cole Custer back in the 41.
Or how about this? How about this?
Wouldn't it be easier to just keep Cole Custer in the 41, have Preece probably run another part-time, be another affiliate for another year, then bring him to the 4?
Well, here's another thing. Here's another thing I think we're missing here. What about Riley Herbst? I mean, he could. I mean, for all we know. I mean, depending on what happens next year, I mean, what the situation is going to look like next year. For all we know, if Riley Herbst has an extraordinary year in Xfinity, which is kind of 50-50, he could, and Cole Custer, by some sort of, for some reason, gets sent back to Xfinity. Herbst could be brought up to Cup. He may not be Cup ready, but SHR may have to do what they've got to do.
The only thing on that, if you're going to bring him up, at least Riley Herbst up, I'd say wait till 2025. I say that because Eric Almirola's contract ends in 2024 unless they renew him again.
Yeah.
So all we know, Almirola could be retiring next year. Just Smithfield's still there, and have like Herbst or Preece or someone take that spot. But here soon, Stewart-Haas Racing is going to end up become a young driver. Going to have young drivers. Depends if it's with like Ryan Preece, Cole Custer, Chase Briscoe, and maybe Herbst if no one else takes the Stewart-Haas.
Yeah, I mean,
But
Do the exact same thing that Hendrick's got going on right now, basically.
Joe Gibbs is about there. Is almost about there. Pence is already somewhat there, but
Yeah.
you get. But my point is, I don't see just putting Priest in the 41, and then next year just put him in the 4, bring Cole Custer back.
Right.
I mean, you get what I mean, right?
Yeah, I do understand that. I mean, right now it's kind of a toss-up as to what will happen between now and the off season, this year's off season, or maybe some point next year. Because we know that, I mean, because we all know Harvick after this year, I mean, his contract's up. Well, next year his contract's up, and that will be his last contract. So after that, that means Harvick most likely is going to be done. And, I mean, it's kind of a toss-up on who to bring up. I mean, even if Cole Custer supposedly goes down to Xfinity series, back to Xfinity after this year, it's it's really a toss-up of what you want to do. I mean, do you want to bring up Ryan Preece to the 41 for a season and then put him in the 4 in 2024, or do you want to bring Riley Herbst up to Cup as much as you feel he's not ready? Like, it's kind of up in the air right now as to what's going to happen in these next coming weeks, months, year.
The talk is more between Custer and Priest than it is Herbst. The fact that Herbst is not even in the equation tells me he's back and he's staying in the Xfinity Series for another year. That's what that tells me. All this that tells me he's still in the Xfinity Series. My opinion is he stays in the Xfinity Series until Eric Almirola retires and he just takes over the 10. That's my thing.
It's possible.
And then Haley Deegan takes over. Haley Deegan takes over the 98, or has another 4 driver go up and take that spot. That's my opinion. That's my opinion. But the fight is mainly between Cole Custer and Ryan Preece.
Right.
Herbst is nowhere near in the equation. So
if he
is, we will be cut.
It would be a little concerning if he is. Not in a bad way. Not in a bad way. It's just, I'm not really picturing him in a Cup car just yet.
Exactly, same here. Moving on, this does not involve Cup Series, this actually involves the lower series. It has been confirmed that Josh Berry will return to the 8.
I'm happy.
I think after his performance in Las Vegas solidified that.
Yeah.
And Junior agreed with that too for bringing them back in the number 8 again next year. So Junior Motorsports teams is a full lineup.
Well, here's another thing, and I think we'll make this the last news item and then move ahead to previewing Martinsville. Chase Purdy will not be returning to Hattori after this year.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's that means that 61 is going to be wide open, and
unless they focus back on the 16.
I don't know. I think I think from what I've seen, they're fully committed to being a 2-truck operation. Still plan to field 2 trucks in 2023. Said Bob Pockris back on October 18th. So that still brings up my prediction of Corey Heim.
I agree. I was about to say that too.
That means that prediction is wide open.
But the thing is on that, I think you said he was going to be in the 16, not the.
I did because, like I said, it mainly depended on both of their contract situations. Because I had no idea what Tyler Ankram's deal looked like, and I didn't know Chase Purdy's deal either. Ankram most likely is safe. Purdy, on the other hand, yes, it is pretty much set in stone. He's not coming back to Hattori after this year, and yeah, that means. That could potentially mean Corey Heim could go to the 61 on a full-time basis.
And and how well Corey Heim did, I would not be surprised if we had something pop up that he is in that 61, because Corey Heim is a really good driver. He won. He's the rookie of the year driver. He is this year's rookie of the year in the trucks with 2 wins.
Yeah.
You cannot.
That's a
That is
steal.
a good deal.
That's a
That's a
steal.
steal. And Hattori gets it. They have a good driver.
Not just that, they've got a good team at that. I mean, winning multiple races. I wouldn't say championship caliber. I wouldn't say that yet.
They are a championship team.
Yeah, they are, but I mean, they haven't been contending a lot since Austin. I mean, listen. Since Austin Hill.
Okay, since Austin Hill. Yeah. Okay, there you go.
That's what I'm trying to say.
I was about to say Austin Hill has ran good enough to try to get championships, but then since then, yeah, which is only 1 year.
Yeah.
Which I still think he got screwed out trying to run for a championship that last year. Him and Todd Gillen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Both at the same time.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, as far as the Hattori situation with the 61, I'm really interested now in what this is going to look like. So without further ado, I think that's all we can talk about. So now let's look ahead to Martinsville, the penultimate race for both Xfinity and Cup. And this is their cutoff race. This is the one that's going to determine the final 4 for both series. So Wyatt, I ask you, what do you think we're going to expect?
I see 2 different spectrums of it. Xfinity, I'd see a lot more beating and banging because those cars are able to pass. So I see a lot more fighting in that. But then the Cup Series, unless they make major modifications to try to get these to pass better on short tracks, you just have to have a good qualifying and good track position. I'm sorry, but
yeah,
I don't see much passing, and you just have to be lucky.
Up all night to get lucky. Yep. All right. Yeah, I think that's pretty much all there is. So why don't we go ahead and get on down to our predictions, shall we? So, yeah, penultimate race, man. Driver to win. Pretty self-explanatory. Driver to stay away from is the guy that has been doing well the last couple of weeks or just coming up to a track that they suck at. Dark Horse is the exact opposite. 2 more races, man. Just 2 more races to go in both series. And this is it. This is the one that's going to determine the final 4 that are going to be fighting for the championship in Xfinity and Cup. Trucks is already set, so we don't got to worry about that. Wyatt, you're up first, man. Take it away.
All right, so my dark horse for the Xfinity Series, Noah Gragson.
Yes.
He's won. He has a win. I don't see him trying to go for another one. He has no just get more gets more wins and confidence. Yeah, but points don't matter for the final 4.
Yeah.
So that's why I think him and Josh Berry are going to be riding along. They're both drivers who won that race both last year, actually.
Yeah.
So, but I think they just ride around. I don't think they even try to go. Just stay out of trouble. That's why he's a dark horse. My driver to stay away from, Brandon Jones. Yes, he won the spring, but he's basically in a must-win. He ain't going to get that win. I'm saying that now.
Yeah.
My driver to win, though, you know what? I'm going dark horse mode. I'm going Austin Hill.
Really?
I'm going to go for it.
Okay.
Do I think he's actually going to do it? Probably not, but it's a fun little game. But it's a fun little thing I want to try to do.
Yeah.
But unfortunately on that also knocks out AJ Allmendinger. So
yeah.
For the Cup Series, this one's going to be pretty interesting. My dark horse. Let me find here it is. My dark horse driver, I think he's not going to make it in, but he's going to have a great race. He's going to be fighting up there. William Byron. He won last year. I don't think he's going to win again. He's going to have a good points battle, but I think he gets eliminated from the round of 8.
Yeah.
My driver stay away from. Oh, he's eliminated. He's 100% eliminated. Chase Briscoe.
Oh, 1,000,000%.
He needs to win. He needs to win, and I don't think he's getting it. And I'm going bold. My driver to win, Ross Chastain. Ross Chastain has been on a tear. He's won. He didn't win, but he's got runner-up the last 2 races. His points don't really show it. Like, he's only plus 19, but that's still not too bad, and that could help him.
No, it's not
Ross Chastain's my driver to win.
Alright. So without further ado, it's my turn, folks. So here we go. So my driver to win for Xfinity, I'm being real here. I think he's going to put the exclamation point as to why he should be in the Final 4. Josh Berry's my driver to win. I think he's putting that exclamation point in there because remember, he won last year's spring race for his first win. So I think he could pull something similar like that off.
I wanna butt in a little bit, but wouldn't it be funny that he went his first and second win come to 2 wins that really solidify him to be in the championship the next year?
That'd be ironic.
Oh yeah, ironic and funny. Anyways, continue.
Driver to stay away from, easily Brandon Jones. I'm sorry, man. I mean, that was just pure luck when he won the spring race earlier this year. I mean, I'm sorry. Man, it was good to see. It was good to see him win. But, it's just, I don't think that same sort of magic is going to repeat itself this year, this time around in the fall race. But my dark horse, on the other hand, Noah Gragson. Pretty easily, Noah Gragson. And now, it's time for the main event, the Cup Series. Driver to win. Alright, here's the deal. We know it's going to be one of those races once again. Hard to pass. It's probably most likely just going to be one lane all the way around the racetrack, which is going to be the bottom. That's no surprise. it's a short track. What else would you expect? You can't get a run on the outside of Martinsville like on the Larson line. You just can't. There's no explaining it. But my driver to win, I personally think it's going to be I think I'm going to go a little bit bold myself. Ryan Blaney will be my driver to win. Now listen. Yes, he's 18 points out. But I think this should be a motivating factor for him to perform. Get as many points as you possibly can, and then put that exclamation point down. Put the little sprinkles on top of your hot fudge sundae flavored ice cream, and go to victory lane in Martinsville. Lock yourself into the Final 4.
And finally get a win this season.
Finally, yeah. Now my driver to stay away from. again, I'm doubling down on this one immediately, or 1,000,000% rather, Chase Briscoe. I'm sorry. I mean, but after what happened at Homestead this past Sunday, there's no recovering from that. No way.
You're not gonna get a lucky break out of Bristol and the Roval.
No way.
You can't. You got lucky twice. You can't get lucky a third time. You gotta win, and I don't see him winning.
But my dark horse, I think you might like this one. Christopher Bell's gonna be my dark horse.
I like it.
Do I think he'll win though? No. But will he perform well? You bet you bet your $5 in your pocket he will. My goodness. I hate to say it, but I agree. I love Bell. He's my driver. He's having a great season, but I really don't see him win Martinsville, and he's in a must win. Yeah. He
got so damn lucky at the Roval. Oh man, I was so happy when he won that, but he got screwed out. When he got screwed out of Vegas and couldn't recover, that's when couldn't recover at Homestead, couldn't get like a good point or a win. That's when I knew That's what I knew.
Yeah. Well, alrighty, Wyatt. We pretty much talked about everything that we needed to talk about.
One thing I want to bring up, and we didn't really mention this. Well, I think we did, but we never really add on to this.
Let me take a wild guess. Tony started making his debut in NHRA.
That, which I think is going to be pretty cool.
That is cool.
But no. Even though Larson, two things about Larson actually. Even though Larson's not in the championship, he's in the Owners' Championship, and the Owners' Championship locked into the Final Four.
Yep.
So whoever finishes fourth in this maybe go for the drivers, but not going for the owners.
Yeah.
And also, I find it hilarious that Bubba Wallace had an incident with Larson and stuff with all that bull crap that happened with Larson the week before, and Larson ends up going to win the race the next week,
and has the shot of the owner's title.
Exactly.
That's
which
funny.
Which Bubba Wallace got eliminated from that at the Roval.
Yeah. Okay, so now that we've got everything that we wanted to talk about out of the way, any final thoughts before we get this Martinsville weekend underway?
Let's see who gets Let's see who makes the Final Four.
Alrighty. So hopefully by the time you guys are seeing this, and Martinsville comes around, hopefully you guys have yourselves a great weekend. Happy Halloween. Go trick-or-treating. Go celebrate. Go party. Do whatever it is that you do on Halloween. I know that's what I'm gonna be doing Sunday night. So
I'll be a blue man.
Yeah, he'll be his Old Among Us character. But that pretty much is going to do it for the 22nd edition of GTN. I want to thank you guys a lot for watching this on YouTube. If you like this, be sure to give it a like. And if you haven't considered subscribing yet, recommend you do so to keep up with some fine content coming out in the near future. And not only that, if you're listening to this on Spotify, be sure to hit that green follow button so that way you don't miss a single re-uploaded audio version of our podcasts that are uploaded every Thursday morning at 11 a.m. I know I'm not 100% consistent with that, but I'm doing the best I can. Anyways, that's going to do it for us. On behalf of Wyatt Walker, I'm Elijah Leonard signing out. And happy Halloween, guys. We'll see you in the next one.
Yeah.